2, 1.
You think maybe he should be taken to a doctor? When do you think maybe he should be taken to a doctor?
You're supposed to eat pizza, not wear it.
Yeah, this is the morning stream, and we're gonna need a bigger boat. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday's edition of the morning stream. It is February 10th, 2022. I am Scott. He is Brian. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Scott.
Hey, did you happen to watch any of the Nintendo Direct yesterday?
I watched it this morning.
Oh, you did?
Nice. I can't watch those live. It's too much excitement for me all in one time.
Yeah.
Another JRPG. What? I can't take it.
I know. It's hard to contain yourself. I get it. I just wanted to mention, I think that new Kirby game looks incredible, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Good. Listen, I'm kind of excited about sports, about Wii Sport, Switch Sports, because we were big sports, Wii Sports players here at the house. We had it on the big screen. We did the bowling a lot. We did the tennis.
This doesn't surprise me at all. I can see Brian with his Wiimote standing there, getting ready to roll a perfect, get a strike. I can see it.
Oh yeah. With this was the neighbors came over, drinking game kind of. Friday after dinner, go out to dinner, come back. Hey, we'll do some bowling. Yeah, let's do some bowling. Yeah. Make some gin drinks, bring them down to the basement and play. Do some bowling. Take the skinheads bowling is what we did.
The good news is Wiimotes are way less sensitive and good at motion control than the freaking, what are they called? Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
So you'll actually get a way more kinetic experience, I think, out of those. For sure. And I think that's cool.
A little part of me that is kind of excited about Advance Wars, even though it's really just
very excited. There's a little excited here in this house. I am beyond stoked for that. I love those games.
But it's Advance Wars 1 and 2. It's the games we've already played, just brought to the Switch.
Yeah, but made modern, like looking all beautiful and stuff. So they're redoing those things entirely. They're complete remakes, and there's some extra content as well. But you're right, they're mostly those original games. But man, those games owned me back in the day. I loved Advance Wars 1 and 2.
Me too. Yeah, me too. If it was if they were announcing an Advance Wars Switch, like new game, new content, heartbeat, be pre-ordering it right now, or P-ordering.
P-order. I need a new P-order, please.
There'd be a little bit of P-ordering coming out of me, and I'd be pre-ordering it.
Well, I just thought the whole thing was pretty good, and I'm maybe in the minority here. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not, because they're going to make it and sell it. But Mario Strikers is one of my favorite soccer games ever made. I loved that game back in the day. That was also a Wii game. Didn't depend so much on Wiimotes, though, which is nice. And they're making a new one of those. That looks awesome. And what else? Oh, they announced like 40-something new courses coming to
to Mario Kart. Or old courses made new, like all the old courses from all of the old Mario Kart games brought to this, which is great.
Which is totally great. And last night they put Earthbound and what's the first one on the NES? Anyway, Earthbound, I never got to play these games back in the day. They're very rare. Most people haven't even heard of them, these weird little RPGs. Mm-hmm. Those are now up on the little SNES and NES online play thing deal that just comes with your Switch. So those are on there. And that happened last night. So I played that till like midnight like an idiot. I just got real Nintendo yesterday. But I'm telling you, man, Kirby can eat a car and then drive around like a car. And everyone's calling him Kirby, which is amazing. And I'm just a sucker for Kirby. I love Kirby. All Kirby games are great games. I've never played a Kirby game I didn't love. He's ridiculous. He's ridiculously cute, and then there's creepy shit at the same time. This game looks like massive amounts of it's a dead world that humans used to inhabit. Somehow Kirby's there to save it.
Well, he's a ghost. He doesn't die.
It's so insane to me. And No Man's Sky coming to the Switch, which is insane. I can't believe that's happening.
Oh, right, No Man's Sky. I know. It's like, Astroneer Heavy. I don't need Astroneer Heavy. I want No Man's Sky Light.
Yeah. I wonder how that'll be, though, because I mean, obviously they've had to cut some corners for performance, but we'll see. We'll see.
I
how
don't
that goes.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good game.
Who is it that mentioned Stoic Squirrel says, they only called it Advance Wars because it was on the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, well, they only called these podcasts because of the iPod, but sometimes these words take on a life of their own.
Yeah, there's no getting around that. Look, half the time when Nintendo has a new console out, they put Super in front of everything for the Super Nintendo era. During the N64 era had 64 on the back of every game on the 64. It was just stupid. That's the way they do it.
And Stoic Squirrel says that's true. I kind of going back to the rant Scott made before about every game in the N64 having 64 in the title.
Yeah.
And like as if on cue.
Yeah. They do a lot of that. Yeah. Sega avoided it mostly, but Nintendo loves to embrace where they're at. So they that's what they do. And they did that with the Wii U. They did it with the Wii. They're just weird. Hey, guess what, everybody? Nintendo's weird. And I love it, and I'm super jazzed to play all those games. But Earthbound is as good as everybody told me it was. I didn't know how that was going to be. That's an awesome little game. It's rad. I assume the NES not prequel, but the game that came before is also good. Just haven't touched it. Never played it back in the day. Anyway, I'm feeling very Nintendo today as a result.
Yeah, actually, and I did misquote. Kirby's not a ghost. Kirby is a hostess snowball with legs.
Yeah, he's a nightmare with legs. That's what he is. Yeah. He eats cars and then drives around with the car inside him.
Goes out at night eating bars. And Lenny only eats guitars. Look out!
I actually laughed out loud when he became a vending machine and shot juice cans at people. Yes. Laughed out loud. I just love him. I love Kirby so much. Anyway, so that's all coming. Hey, Brian, I thought, you're always playing games with us. Why don't I play a game with you today?
That's totally fine. Let's prove that my knowledge is only paper deep.
Paper deep? Paper deep. Why is that fun to say? Paper deep.
Paper deep.
Isn't that fun to say?
Yeah, because it sounds like you're saying, you could get your deep free, but not anymore because it's paper deep.
Oh, there's something. Yeah, I like that.
Paper deep.
Yeah.
Paper deep.
Paper deep. Paper deep.
Paper deep.
All right, I'm gonna. I don't know what to use for this, so I'll just use this. Even though that's recommendals, I don't have any other kind of hooray for Hollywood stuff. But so this is a movie-related thing, and since Brian loves movies, we're in the middle of Oscar season. He's about to go see all those movies. I thought I'd try a little trivia thing with you that is specifically about science fiction movies and famous quotes from them.
Oh God. Okay.
So what I'm gonna do?
Did all right on the movie quotes last week, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right. Now this one is even maybe more helpful or less. I'm not sure, but they're audio quotes, and now you're gonna say what movie these audio quotes are from.
Oh, okay. Oh no, are these from the film sack? Are these non-memorable quotes from non-memorable sci-fi movies we watched on film sack?
No, none of these. In fact, none of these are from film. Well, no, that's not true. We've seen a bunch of these on film sack just by our nature, but some of them we haven't, and I chose
You're
them.
not pulling them from from movies we watched on film.
Oh no. In fact, these are freshly recorded because I think I should do more work for myself, I guess. But so yeah, it's a good. You make a good point. I should have just used old clips.
No, I'm glad you didn't. Because as soon as we're done talking about a movie on film sack, that movie is erased from my memory unless it's Breakfast Club or T2 or something like that.
Which is to say something good.
Hudson Hawk.
Yeah. Hudson Hawk. Yeah, to slurp my butt and all that.
Exactly.
So here's the list. Now I recorded a bunch of these and then I mixed them up like a deck of cards. It's totally shuffled. Okay. So no rhyme or reason to this. There's no hints as to years or anything in the way that I play these. So you're just going to hear them, and then I'm going to give you. I think I should time this somehow, but I don't have a timer.
Sure.
Just as quick as you can.
Yeah,
how about that?
As quick as I can, sure. Quick fire movie quotes. Okay.
Here's number one. Run! What's the movie?
Oh, geez. Is that Planet of the Apes?
No, I don't have a buzzer. I'll just do it myself because I'm on the wrong tab. No, that is, and if you listen to this little bit at the beginning, you hear that?
Oh, is that Predator?
Predator. Yeah, you had it almost. Yeah. All right, it's okay. You're getting warmed up. It's okay.
Okay, it's warm up. Yeah, it's a warm up one. I wasn't sure that the music for some reason felt like 60s and not 80s, but
yeah, no, fair enough. I'm gonna make a little note here. We got 0 on the first one.
0 for 1. Yeah, that's easy to keep track of. I need paper for that.
No, I don't. But I also know if I don't start writing it down, I never will. All right, here's number 2.
All right.
No hints here. I'll just play it. Here you go.
Look at me. We're all just looking out for something real.
Okay. It's a little tricky. A little tricky.
We're all just looking out for something real.
I will say some of these are obvious and some of them are a little tricky.
Yeah, that one's tricky. And I'm not looking at the tadpole for this.
None of them know it yet, seems like.
Look at me. I'm just looking for something real. I'm going to guess she's not, but it's not Blade Runner. I was thinking like replicant kind of thing. Stepford Wives. No, let's see. What? It's not really science fiction. I got nothing on this.
Right.
Let's say Blade Runner, even though I know it's not.
I'm going to give you a correct.
Blade Runner 2049?
That is Blade Runner 2049. Well done.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, that was Princess Bride telling Pretty Boy Jim over there that he was, whatever. I don't know what she was saying, but that was the deal. So well done. Your instincts were correct there. Nicely done.
Woo! Wow. All right.
All right. Let's try this one on for size.
For God's sake, what now?
Who ran Bartertown?
I'm putting
that would be Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome.
I am putting that down before you even answered because I knew you'd get it. Now, real quick here, side note, this new book, Blood and Chrome, The Making of Mad Max Fury Road or whatever, this book that just came out. Apparently I got to get my hands on it, but there's stuff in there where for a while they were considering, so there's two bits of casting things in there that blew my mind. For a while they were considering Eminem for the role of Mad Max.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, like legitimately, apparently George Miller was so into his 8 Mile performance that he was like, I think I can make this work. And maybe he could have. I don't know, but they ended up not doing it, obviously. And then the other...
Hi, my name is Mad Max. Hi, my name is...
He'd be a better war boy. Just paint him up white and make him a war boy.
I'm trying to decide which one of Morton Joe's girls I want to impregnate.
I had a baby brother. He was perfect in every way. So he didn't do it, obviously, but then there was Army. So I guess Army Hammer and Tom Hardy were in the same room auditioning the same day.
Yeah.
And at some point during his performance or his audition, Tom Hardy spit in the direction of Army Hammer for no one knows why.
Oh my God. Was it like a Richard Kind accidental spit thing, or he just like said, "Puh on you, Army Hammer"?
No,
and
like
your dumb
that.
Name.
More like the second, like kind of a vindictive
Really?
like spit on the guy. And that's, according to the book, why he went with Tom Hardy, because he was like, I need this level of like
Yes,
weird
it's British accent. and your baking soda.
Anyway, I gotta get that book.
Soda.
I gotta get that book because apparently there was some really hard stuff to deal with. It was almost like
you don't already have that. I'm amazed that they didn't send you an advanced copy.
I know, right? Book. I'm bummed out that I don't have it yet, but I'm gonna get it. All right, here's one for you. All right. So quick. This should be. I don't know if this is easy or not, but here we go.
Start the reactor. Frame.
Okay.
Start the reactor, and then it gets cut off. Can you play one more time?
Start the reactor. Frame.
I don't know what the frame part is. I must have cut that
it's
weird.
It's not Dune, is it? Like he's about to say Freeman or anything like that. Start the reactor. Jeez. And he sounds like he's dying.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. I like how you do this. Chipping away at it. It's good.
Yeah. I'm going to say... Jeez Louise, I got nothing. Start the reactor. Crap sci-fi movies all have a reactor.
Yeah, they all do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reactors.
Start the reactor. I know we said we'd do these fast, but I can't. I've got nothing. I'm going to say, let's say Dune.
Dune.
The original.
Incorrect. The answer is... Total Recall.
Boy, the chat room had it in spades. They got that one quick.
That was Quado.
Oh, that's Quado,
yeah,
right?
Quado
That's
going,
the tummy monster.
The reactor. Okay. And this is after he was like, his host had gone down and he was laying there.
Right.
All right, here's your next one. Okay. This should be easy.
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Yeah, all right. That'd be first Star Wars, A New Hope.
Yeah, New Hope. The new Pope.
4.
Yeah, the young
Don't
Pope.
Get cocky, kid.
Yeah, well done. All right, how about this one? This one's probably also obvious. It's not at first, but then it becomes obvious.
Your move, creep.
Oh, that's RoboCop.
What's your name, son? All right, here we go. Next up, this one's tricky.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah.
I'll play it one more time.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
Jeez. Yeah, that's super familiar. Is that
Someone in the chat got it, but
and
only one so far. Oh, two. Now two have it. Oh, my daughter got
not
it.
in Kansas anymore. Is that Escape from New York?
Let me find out. Is it Escape from New York?
No.
The answer is Avatar.
Avatar. God, it's funny how some of these sound so much older.
I know, right?
Wow.
And some of them, I mean, I got them all off YouTube clips, so some of them might be like crappy versions, which might help me in my ability to stump you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it does. It definitely helps. You know, I need to see that. I only saw that movie the one time in the theater, and I guess as we get ready for the 48 sequels that are coming out, apparently all at once.
Yeah.
When James Cameron finally gets done with them, we want to be ready.
Yeah, I'm not a hater. I think people don't like it because it's just too popular, and people don't like. It's like Frozen or anything else where it's just so popular, no one likes it.
Exactly. It's
I liked it.
Backlash because of its popularity.
I saw it twice, 3 times maybe. I enjoyed it. All right, here's one.
Come with me if you want to live.
That's that's the original Terminator, isn't it?
Correct. Well done.
Yeah, it's Reese.
Reese.
Not Reese. Reese?
Yeah, Reese, played by Sean Bean. No, Michael Bean.
Michael Bean.
Wrong Bean.
Michael Sean Bean.
Yeah. Although Sean Bean also would have died if he was in it. All right, here's one that's maybe tricky, maybe not.
Okay.
It's a line I wasn't used to. Here you go.
Are you, Alice, menstruating right now?
What has that got to do with it?
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
All right.
That's Ghostbusters. That's I think that's during the ESP test, I believe.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Nicely done. It's just one you don't hear as often as like "this man is a penis" or whatever.
Yeah, there's so many other quotes in there. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Yeah.
Sovereign Bohemian says an old Western. No, it was Ghostbusters. All right, here's one for you. Enjoy this one.
Clever girl.
Okay, Jurassic Park.
Nicely done. Easy one. That was a softball. Okay, this one might be tricky.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Oh, that's all I'm getting?
Yeah, and the trick there, or the hint there, may be the music, but I'll play it again.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Oh, that music is super familiar. It sounds like Jude Law talking. Maybe not, though. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Yep.
Jeez. Love this. Yeah, the music is super familiar.
Yeah. And I will say we did this for Film Sack, if that helps.
Yeah, I bet we did. Dang.
Tricky one.
It is a tricky one. Let's say Deep Star 6.
You are you correct?
No, I'm wrong.
Incorrect.
No, I know I'm not.
That is Inception. That was Tom Hardy.
Inception. Oh, was it really? Oh, that's funny. Wow, okay.
Yeah, Tom Hardy talking to Third Rock from the Sun kid.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it's about to shoot something out of the sky. And also proof that I don't think he can be. I think he physically can be James Bond. Acting can be James Bond. I don't think this voice.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
I think it's Tom Hardy has a higher register, and it's fine for almost everything else he does. I don't think it's Bondy.
No.
You know?
No.
I think he's great in every other way. I really like him, but I think that's a weird thing. All right. Here's one for you. You'll probably get this.
says he's too short. I think he's taller than Craig, isn't he?
I think he is, isn't he?
I think he's taller than Craig.
Free Rangers, he does not mumble too much to be Bond. He's in lots of movies where he doesn't mumble at all.
Yeah.
I know he does. Mad Max, he mumbles. I get it. That's fine.
Don't watch Venom because that voice, I mean, obviously he's affecting an American accent, but it's just hard to watch him.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You know, it would have been fine. Eddie Brock could have been British. Totally fine for the Venom movies.
Yeah.
If it would have meant that, yeah.
I agree. Just let him be himself. No problem.
Yeah.
Edward. It'd be Edward Brock that way. That's what you do.
Yeah. Edward Brock.
Yes. Here's one. This is another Film Sack film, so that's your hint.
Okay.
What the hell is going on around here?
Who are you people?
Is that Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
You are incorrect. That was you're close though. It's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, that was Dreyfuss. That was Richard Dreyfuss, wasn't it?
I almost said
this means something. I can make a mountain out of these mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. He did the weirdest tweet the other day. He said, "I'm so grateful for my 300 plus film career," or whatever the number is, and he goes. In the first half, there's some real bummers in there, but not because they were bad. They just didn't match up with what their potential could be. Then there's some really great stuff in the middle, and then some really terrible stuff in recent years, but those were about the money. That was the tweet.
I love it. Oh, my God. That's the greatest, the greatest Hollywood admission in years.
Yeah, I love it. There's some real truth there. Okay, here's your...
Everything after Mr. Holland's opus has been crap.
I mean, the guy's, 70-something, so he's getting there.
Yeah,
here's one that is so stupid and obvious I don't even know why I included it, but here you go. Okay, do you know it?
Oh, my God. Yes.
I'll do it one more time. I'll play it again.
Buried Alive.
Yeah.
Shit, what is that? Oh, my God. It seems obvious, doesn't it?
The part that happens after that would have made
it's a Khan. That's Khan saying it about Kirk. It's Star Trek II Wrath of Khan.
Okay, I'm going to play the whole thing. Yeah, there you go. You would have had it. Yep, well done. You get a point. All right, so now we have two left. Here is a tricky one. You'll recognize the voice, but will you recognize the film?
Nature can be lethal, but it doesn't hold a candle to man.
Nature can be lethal, but it doesn't hold a candle to man.
Can you play it one more time?
Nature can be lethal, but it doesn't hold a candle to man.
All right. I think that's Samuel L. Jackson. Would I be correct?
You would be correct about that, yes. It's totally him.
Yeah.
And yes, he is in some echoey space. That might help as well.
Yeah, okay. That's that narrows it down to half his movies.
Yeah, he is often in a place like that. You're right.
Yes, exactly. So I don't think it would be, I mean, it sounds like that line could have easily been from Jurassic Park, but I know it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Nature can be lethal, but doesn't hold a candle to man. Is that the Deep Blue Sea piece of garbage?
You are correct. Well done.
All right, then.
Nicely done. That was great. Sussed that down right to the thing. Good job. He was about to get eaten there. He didn't know it, but he was going to be eaten.
Yeah, exactly. Famous last word, Samuel.
Yep. And it was like 15 minutes into the film or something. All right, final one, maybe the hardest.
Oh God. Okay.
I don't know if it is or not. Maybe you'll get it right away. Here goes.
Good. Latu. Barada. Nikto.
The day the earth stood still.
Oh, my Lord. You got it so fast.
Latu Barada Nikto.
Nicely done. All right. So shit. You know what I stopped doing was writing it down. I lost track of the score.
That's all right. I think I probably was getting 50-50 on that.
Yeah, you did all right.
Everybody else was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how many total there were?
There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 total.
15. I probably got 7 then. That would be my guess. Yeah.
I'm going to say you got 10. That to me is I made that up, but you did great and well done.
Okay.
Congratulations, Brian. You've passed the test. You can now recede into the west and remain Galadriel.
When will we play the game where you play me a Spice Girls song and I have to name which Spice Girl is currently singing? That's the. By the way, did you notice that they're coming out with Lego blockheads of the Spice Girls? About 48 people have either texted, tweeted, or Facebook posted me a link to the new Spice Girls Legos.
Oh, look, I know this for a fact that if there's a Spice Girls related anything, you immediately tell Brian. I'll give you an example. Yeah. I'm going to pause the YouTube for this.
Today. Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
And she'll be hanging up.
Yep, she'll be hanging up immediately. I'm going to hit ring again. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we won't. Amy, you there?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't hear Amy. I'm going to pause everything once again.
Oh no, thing, right?
Yes,
like where,
good way of putting it. Yeah, except it's just sort of on top of all your other benefits as a.
That's true. It's
as
not
a top little
you don't
dude.
get a. Hey, it's Brian Emmett from TMS calling to wish you a happy birthday, Steve. Hope you have a great day, and I care a lot. Although I say that, but I kind of want to set up a cameo where I do.
I kind of thought about that too, not because I want Cameo to be some revenue stream, but because I think it would be fun to do.
I would too.
You know?
Like I would have people pick. You ask me to do impersonations of people I've never done impersonations of before, and you would get the initial attempt. Like you wouldn't get me workshopping an attempt at an impersonation. You'd get the.
You'd get
it right away.
You'd get it right away. Amy, you there?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we hear you! Yay! We got her back.
Yes.
Hello,
Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. See, it's always Chuck's fault.
It's not Mark, it's Chuck.
He did it, didn't he? He fiddled with something, didn't he? Changed it.
I have no idea. I have no idea what happened there, but yeah, I just had to restart Discord and kick it.
Look, when you share a significant other, or with a significant other, you and that person share a computer, there's always going to be this. I mean, if Nicole and Marc taught us anything, it was that. It's always going to be some weird thing going on.
Did you go, can I kick it? And Chuck went, yes, you can. Can I kick it?
Yes, you can. Yep. The beat was hot over there at the Fraggle house. Hey, Amy, it's good to have you here. Sorry about all that. I don't know what was going on, but we're back. We're here.
That's all my fault. That's my mistake.
It's all
I think
good.
what I did changed it to push to talk, and I wasn't pushing a button to talk.
Oh, yeah, that's required when you have push to talk on. You got to push that button to talk.
Yeah, I know. Imagine
it's right
that.
there in the name.
Well, all right. So welcome. Hey, we're going to talk about some recommendations today. You come on the show and talk about reading and books and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's an author, sometimes it's just, hey, what are we talking about? And I'd love to know what today's about. So what are we doing?
Right, well, the inspiration for today comes from a couple of different places. So, for starters, last week it was just as well that last week's show was pushed because I could not have been on last week's show because I was chaperoning a bunch of high school kids at a theater conference.
Fun.
Because I don't value my life, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Yeah,
Wow.
no kidding.
How many kids or how many chaperones per kid? What's the ratio? Because that's usually the hard part. If you have enough parents, it's easy. But if it's just like you and 20 kids, it's really hard.
We had about 4 kids each that we were responsible for, and that's because we were all driving them ourselves. It was largely the number of chaperones was bigger than it needed to be because he needed car space more than he actually needed warm bodies. So
got it.
That made it a lot easier. So we were only responsible for 4 kids, and in my case, one of those kids was mine.
Sure.
So
I would hope so. You got to have some in. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing a kid
Right.
likes more than their mom chaperoning an event where they go with all their friends. They love that.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it was him and his girlfriend. So yeah, that was interesting.
Did you catch any? Did you find some kids in a corner making out or anything weird, like any kind of cool, like busting kids for snorting something off their finger or whatever? I don't
Touching
know.
butts.
What do kids do?
No, I did not. But I will tell you what. Apparently, I got some cred as the cool mom because man, the kids that were in my car were spilling a lot of really hot tea in my car on the way back. Like they were all like letting it all hang out.
Oh, the hot tea. Okay, so this is a term.
These are teenagers that are like, oh, let's go out and get some hot tea to drink.
No, when you say hot tea,
No,
you mean like gossip,
they were
right?
like gossiping about.
Oh, gotcha.
Like-
Okay, I was thinking, man, these are the weirdest kids. What tea shop did you pick them up? I see what you're saying. So the hot goss. is what they were
I had
spilling.
heard this. I've heard that phrase one other time. I think it was my aunt who used to say hot tea.
I'm glad you knew it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So did you get anything good out of that? What, we get some. I don't know.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Wow, these kids
But
are living.
It was good stuff they were spilling. But anyway, it made me very nostalgic for when I was in high school. And, because I used to do a bunch of theater stuff too. But let me tell you, man, the level of performance that's coming out of these high school kids now, it's amazing. They did a Cirque du Soleil style show.
Yeah.
And I forgot they were high school kids. I was like, how the hell does their insurance cover that? Because, like,
that's great.
I mean, yeah, it was really impressive. Some of these kids are really, really talented.
Are you saying
so it was
the
cool.
future's bright? We all might need to wear shades. These kids are gonna kick butt. They're all good. Is that what you're saying? You got future. You got hope in the future.
Yes, that is indeed what I'm saying. I think there's definite potential for some good entertainment in the future.
I think there's a whole generation of let's say 10 to 20-year-olds who are going to take this world back and make it better than all the olds made it. If you know what I'm saying.
Let's hope so.
I really do think
I'm
that.
hoping for that, man.
I have a feeling. I just have a feeling. I could be wrong. There'll be a few bad eggs. There always is. But I just think there's a movement coming. We'll see. Well, anyway.
Hopefully not a bowel movement.
No, we don't want a bowel movement. That's why you bring chaperones. Nobody poop. Nobody poop. I'll tell your parents. All right. Hey,
and clean up that tea.
Yeah.
It's not going to clean itself up.
Right. So that made me nostalgic for when I was in high school. It also occurred to me that this month is February, which is Black History Month. And I remembered there was this book that I read when I was in high school by an author named Gloria Naylor. And the name of the book is Mama Day. And I actually read it several times after I graduated, after college and whatnot. I made Chuck read it just recently. It is an excellent book, and it is, it's all fictional. It's sort of fantasy, but it's set in a fictional island off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. And it's completely exactly on the halfway mark between Georgia and South Carolina. Thus, in this world, it's not part of either state. And it's sort of, that island sort of owns itself because there was back in 1823, there was a woman who was a slave who sort of cast a spell over her owner and got him to will the land to her and her descendants. And so
oh, interesting.
It's a really, really interesting book, and it's set more modern day. The really cool thing about it is that she writes it in various perspectives. So it's written, like, parts of it are written in third person omniscient, and parts of it are written in the first person, but it'll switch between which person is the first person perspective.
Okay.
And it's easy to keep track of. Like, you can tell who, where things are happening and what's going on, but it moves quickly enough that it doesn't leave you bored. You're not like, okay, yeah, all right, we're with George again. Okay, yeah, get on with it. Like, by the time you're saying that, they've switched back over to another character or something. And so it's really interesting. And it's sort of, I think it's fair to say that, like, the culture in the book is sort of inspired by Gullah culture and things like that. But it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a really fun read. It's a pretty easy read, but because I read it in high school, but it's, I was gonna say,
this
really
came out
in
let's see, 88. It came out. I'd never heard of this. I love the idea of mixing some fantasy into a slavery tale. You know what I mean? Like, something about that. I really like that. I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's really interesting because, like, almost the magic is where they are kind of reclaiming their power, and they just have their own space there, and there's a guy who comes over from the mainland, and they have to kind of tell him, no, this is how we do things here,
Interesting.
And so it's a great book. I really enjoy it, really recommend it, and I felt like it was a good opportunity to recommend a Black author, since it's Black History Month.
Yeah, why the heck not?
Yeah, for sure.
This seems really great. There's a whole so I'm looking at her Wikipedia page. She's got a bunch of books. I know I've heard her name before. Oh, Women of Brewster's Place, or Brewster Place. So that's a famous novel.
Place.
Oh, okay. That's why I know Gloria Naylor. I think we had to read that at some point.
Oh, really?
Junior high or high school? I don't remember. It's an older book. Let's see. 82. It's her first book. I guess that's the one that really brought her on the scene. And then she did the Men of Brewster Place in 99, like a follow-up. I don't know what that was like. Her last book was in 2005, a book called 1996, which I assume has to do with the year 1996. I don't know.
Safe bet. Yeah.
Seems like a safe bet, right? Seems like I'm okay making that assumption.
Yeah. That's cool.
All right. Good recommendation. Gloria Naylor. Go find that book. It looks like it's available everywhere. Easily and still in print, so you can grab it now.
Audiobook and Kindle and everything. I got a link on Quick TMS for the whole Amazon page where you can choose your format.
Oh, nice.
Choose your adventure. Basically.
Passed away in
Except
2016.
Not available in that version, sadly.
Passed away kind of young.
I think that would be a little intimidating in that world. I would be
Yes,
like,
it
I don't know what to choose here. You know, there's a guy with an old whiskey still, and there's like an old woman who's kind of a shaman, and it's like, I don't know, I wouldn't know which way to go.
They had a TV show based on this Women of Brewster Place deal. Oh yeah, here it is. The Women of Brewster Place 1990 television show. It was just called Brewster Place, and Oprah had paid was the producer.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember
never saw
that.
it. I think that's why that name's ringing so familiar to me. Anyway, that's awesome.
Any of the Deborah Harkness stuff?
I have not, but I'm gonna write that down now.
Okay.
Deborah Harkness.
You guys know me. I'm always on the prowl for.
There's a lot of magic, fantasy kind of stuff too. That will connect to a future. It'll actually connect to a future recommendal of mine. That's all I'll say.
Really?
Yeah.
Brian giving us mad hints here on the show.
Mad hints.
Yeah,
angry hints.
Yeah, my favorite board game as a kid. Mad hints. All right. Hey, great job as always. Always good to have you on. Anything else you want to mention or tell people about where they can find you, that kind of stuff?
Sure. Yeah, you can always follow me. I'm Redfraggle 3 on all the places. Twitter, you have to spell it out, but on TikTok, it's just a letter. It's just a number 3. And, brought to you today by the letter 3.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Brought to you today by the letter 3. You can follow me on all the
places. I was just on Wait You Haven't Seen with TV's Travis this past week. We talked about the movie The Apartment. Mm-hmm. And so that was a lot of fun. I had technical difficulties on that show, too, so it's not just you guys.
You know what's great about that show with TV's Travis? He had me on as well, and we did the movie Wanted, which I'd never seen. The Angelina Jolie.
That's what the bullets you can direct.
Yeah. The bullets,
a little English on that bullet.
Yeah, based on a comic and all that. So I thought, well, I'll watch that. But because I did that with him and on his show, it's permanently in my head that we film sacked it. But we haven't. Yeah. I just think we have.
Because it is a perfect film sack movie. But,
that movie's definitely sackable.
Yeah. Can't get it out of my head. But he's a good guy. He'll probably be on one of those days Brian's gone in May or March is when you're going. Anyway, hey, that's great. Have a fantastic week. I look forward to doing this next week.
Thanks. Me too.
Bye now. All right. There she goes. She's off. She's off to the land of book reading. Let's get in. Let's get in.
Some Deborah Harkness.
I'm trying to think if we got time for one of these. Yeah, why not? We're going to do one news story, and it starts with this.
I don't watch the news.
Brian, who's this news brought to us by?
It's brought to you by Luke Johnson, who's a patron who says Season 4 of the Gilded Playlist is ramping up and will hit your podcast players in January. Each week, panelists and listeners anonymously throw 5 songs onto a playlist, and after some marination blind voting, we gather to see which songs are tossed aside and which received enough votes to earn their place in the Gilded Playlist. Join us at thegildedplaylist.com.
Nice. Jeez,
do we still have time for
yeah, we got time. We got time.
Okay, good.
And it's a Vegas.
Thegildedplaylist.com. There
nice.
you go.
There you go. This is a slot machine story in Las Vegas. We always like those.
Look at that. Appropriate. Yeah. The website, good. By the way, for Viva TMS Vegas is up. There's no information on there except for that fun looping video of flying over old Las Vegas.
Oh, good. Nothing wrong with that. I like that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Slot machine in Las Vegas malfunctioned and did not tell a tourist that he won. The gaming board tracked him down and got him his winnings. So next time you think that they're just out to cheat you, sure, the house has an advantage every time. Mm-hmm. But if you think they're out to cheat you, they actually do good sometimes.
This is a heartwarming story because the casino could have easily said, "Duh, too bad."
Yeah, it's your fault, whatever. But the gaming commission says nay. The tourist hit the jackpot on a slot machine last month. He was never informed due to a malfunction in the machine, according to gaming officials there in Vegas. Now, after an exhaustive search, the Nevada Gaming Control Board says they have identified the winner of nearly $230,000.
That's awesome.
Yeah. January 8th, the man, later identified as Robert Taylor, played a slot machine in Treasure Island Hotel and Casino. Gross. Due to a communications error, according to the gaming officials, the slot machine malfunctioned, did not notify Taylor or the casino personnel that he was the winner. By the time the error was noticed, they were unable to identify the man, who was from out of state. Gaming board took an exhaustive search to make sure the man was awarded his prize. To identify him, here's what they had to do. They combed through hours of surveillance videos, several casinos that the guy visited, So they have video from all of that, interviewed witnesses, sifted through electronic purchase records, and even analyzed rideshare data provided by the Nevada Transportation Authority. Yep.
Really?
Yep. And one of the rideshare companies, doesn't say who, probably both, according to a news release. I say both.
Seriously, if you would have had a player's card, this could have been done in 2 minutes.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
But he's like me. He's probably a dude like me. He's like, he came in, put a few bucks in something, said, whatever, and walked away. But anyway, the jackpot winner is determined to be Taylor. He is a tourist from Arizona. He's getting his money. What a nice story, you know? The guy in Vegas got his money. What a nice story. All right, there's your story for the day. It's pretty cool. I hope if I ever do this that they would track me down. That'd be nice.
They would totally do. They would totally track you down. Yeah. And this happened to my mom in Black Hawk, which is a town. It's the gambling town closest to where I live.
Oh.
She won something. She hit the cash out button. It didn't spit out the paper ticket. She put the service button. Nobody came for like 10 minutes. She finally got up to go get somebody. Apparently, it did spit out a ticket after she left. Somebody took that ticket.
Ooh.
And when the people came back, it's like, no, it's the ticket's gone. But that's all right. We'll figure out who it is. And they analyzed security video, and they found the person who took the ticket. They were still in the casino. Oh, I was going to bring it to the desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sure someone on this planet would do that. But if you're going to do it, you do it right away.
You do it right away, exactly.
You don't hold on to it. That's just not the way, baby.
Yep.
Break time. We're going to take one. When we come back, Wendi will be here. That's right. My sister's back with her knowledge in the world and workings of social issues and dealing with your own personal stuff. She's a therapist is what I'm trying to say. And she'll be here to talk about some of that. We got a question from a listener. That's all coming up right after this break, where Brian has prepared a song.
Yeah, this is another fun one from the UK. This is a band called Los Bichos, and we've played Los Bichos before. What's great about this band is that they all come from different countries, different backgrounds. So you've got Turkish psychedelica, you've got Argentinian cumbia music, you've got Peruvian chicha music, and a little bit of surf rock, and it's all combined into one song, and it's great. This whole album is really, really good. The brand new album is called Let the Festivities Begin. Just came out on City Slang, and big thanks to Catherine from Motormouth Media for letting me know about this one. Here is one of the first singles. We've actually played another track, an early advanced track from this album months ago. But this is the brand new single. It's called The Link is About to Die. Here are Los Bichos.
You've just seen one way to meet an everyday situation. Was it the best way?
Fisher Price presents
The Adventure People.
The morning stream. It's totes fat.
And we're back. That song once again was who was
I like that groove right there.
Yeah,
it's pretty
good
too.
Right? It's groovy.
The Link is About to Die by Los Bichos from their brand new album called Let the Festivities Begin.
I like the sound of their jib. No, the cut of their jib. Sorry,
the cut of their jib. Or their jib sounds really good.
Yeah,
as well.
Giblets. All right. We're going to get Wendi in here. Let's see if we can get her to the call. She wasn't here last week either because Brian was sick and we didn't have...
Because I was sick. I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Finally over that. I think I'm as close to 100% as I'm going to get.
There you go. It took about...
I never get 100%, but...
No, 100% is unreachable. I don't think anyone's ever hit it.
Yeah, no, nobody's ever... 100%.
I've never been... 100%. What even is that?
It's a dream world, maybe.
When I was 12 or 13, maybe I was 100%.
Maybe, yeah.
Not now. Forget it. All right, Wendi, no answer. Let's see why. Let's see if we can figure out why. Why is Wendi not answering? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna call her. Let's see. Let me just send her a quick.
Yeah, do that
here. Yeah, I'll say, "Hey, Wendi, we're here." Hey. She's online, so don't know why she's not picking up. Pick up thine phone. Okay, looks like we're getting there. We're getting there. Is it time? Is she getting it? Is she picking it up?
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, no, not yet.
Rings of ringage.
Rings of ringage, not rings of speakage. Damn it. I know she's online. I can see her.
Yeah.
Look, my sister's not the most technical person in the world.
No, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Really, it's fine.
Not all of us can be computer experts. Some of us have to be people experts. That's what she does.
Yes, right.
Okay, I'll try her again. I've paused the show so that no one at home has to hear this except these fine people. Oh, look at this.
And then we get her. See,
there she is.
That's the thing. That's what gets her,
Yeah, all I had to do is say it, and there she is. Hi, Wendi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
What's going on? We rang you a bunch of times and didn't get an answer, so we thought maybe something was wrong, but it appears it was just being weird on your end, and now you're good. You're here.
I just had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, well, all right. There you go.
Fine, if you have to.
Look,
And you know, if you're like, if I just run, it'll be faster than texting, and then anyway.
Yeah, no, I feel you. We're Johnsons as well. We all have to go to the bathroom at the least convenient times. That's how it works.
Always.
Yeah,
100% true.
That is 100% true. We get it from our mom. I don't know what she did, but genetically, if you say, "Hey, we need to run up the street and grab a thing," I'll go, "Okay, I gotta pee." And I didn't have to pee before that, but I suddenly have to pee. That's how it works. That could be a whole episode of its own. Let's get into today's discussion. And we missed you last week, but Brian was sick. We were out. Didn't have you.
Brian, you all right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine. Fine now.
Yeah,
but,
he's good.
Yeah, I had a cold. Was nothing stronger than a cold, just a cold.
Yeah, I did the double tests, and they were all negative. And
yep.
Yeah.
Did not bring home any Cajun Fried COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in New Orleans, which we thought, well, maybe you touched something, or who knows what you did, and then hey, you're good. Oh, you probably still touched something, but it just wasn't COVID.
I probably did still touch something. I just didn't touch the thing that had COVID. I touched the thing that had cold germs on it.
Right.
I licked the correct doorknob.
Yeah, if you're going to lick a doorknob, make sure it's one that doesn't have COVID on it. So, nice work. Well, all right. It's nice to have you here. I hope everything's good on your end. No COVID over there, right? You guys are good. You're all clear.
Yeah, we're good. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess we're careful. It feels rejecting. Like everyone got Omicron but us. Literally everyone I know.
Yeah, same thing. Circle closes. But it's one thing. Vaccines do work, and at the very least, if you get it with Omicron, you still are having a less bad experience. So maybe you could have fought it off 4 or 5 times now.
All 6 of us just had no symptoms and had it, and there we are.
It's possible.
I don't know. It's just strange.
I know. I hate that feeling. I guess we could all do what is it, antibody testing and find out, but that's not like cheap or easy.
Pretend it's over. That's my plan. Is just pretending
it's all over. Oh, great! I'm sure that'll work.
That's how you get rid of a pandemic.
Yeah. That's how you handle it.
Yeah, that's how you just ignore hundreds of thousands of deaths. Anyway, let's move on. Hey, we got an email that we're going to read today, and it's a tricky one, but we're going to read it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So here it comes. This is from Anonymous. It says, "Hey, obviously anonymous. Want to bring up a topic for Therapy Thursdays. Have you guys ever covered the concept of being raised/indoctrinated into a religion and having to come to terms with that and what it means to you as you get older? If not, this is my spiel," he says. He or she says. Okay. I was raised as a very fundamental Christian. Secular music is satanic. D&D is satanic. Scripture being used as a way to control / get your way sort of household. Okay.
Yeah, like to get control, get your way.
It's
a get your way sort of household.
Sort of household.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's some hyphens missing there that we need.
There should be hyphens there, yes, or quotes or something.
Yeah, there may be hyphens. Sunday morning was a way for my parents to bring us to church and show off how normal, in quotes, our family was and how good a mother/father they were to other people. They the quote hey, look at how good we are sort of thing. Hence why we always were dressed to the nines. We were all very much Sunday Christians, as I truly believe my narcissist of a mother loved religion as a way to exude the most control over her children, and church was a good way to show everybody how she was. Anyway, as I get older, I have attempted to discover Christianity for myself. I have gone through the entire Bible cover to cover almost. That's interesting, almost. I wonder if you got hung up in that Songs of Solomon or something, because that stuff's weird. Stuff's real weird in there. Anyway, and have really tried to subscribe to the mindset of what being a Christian is. Something has never sat right with me on this, and lately Christianity has felt extremely suffocating to me, and I have felt some shame and guilt in the areas of my life that don't line up with the, quote, Christian Jesus-like, unquote, walk you should be walking. I'm now at this sort of impasse where I want to back the F up and take this whole thing with a massive grain of salt, especially considering everything else that's going on in life. I won't go into detail, but my family life has been enormously challenging and depressing. And feeling the guilt from religion coupled with that has made my life quite miserable lately. I've decided I need to do what makes me happy, and taking a step away from Christianity seems to be freeing to me. The transition from indoctrination to own beliefs is tricky, and I want to eventually move from hardcore Christian/religion to spirituality and what it means to me personally. Scott always says his religion is how he treats people, leaving a place better than you found it, etc., etc. This is all dad stuff. I would love some advice on how to navigate these waters. Sorry to drone on. It's been a hell of a year. Anonymous. Unfortunately, I think this earlier part in his email says not to get into too much detail. You would probably want more detail on that.
I want lots more detail.
Yeah. As soon as I read that, I went, "Oh, that's the Wendi hole." You're gonna leave.
How has family life been challenging and depressing?
I need to know what you're saying. But it's okay. It's okay. I get it. Like you're revealing yourself, and it feels like you're just telling everything, and then you're like, this is too much, when really the therapist wants to know.
I also think, do you think
your grandparents used to think? Do
you think there's like a I could be wrong about this. I don't know how. I feel like there's a general sensibility about this right now that maybe is more than usual, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me feeling it, but there's a real disconnect now when you're the pandemic has had a way of magnifying this, where people behave a certain way, and you can easily in other times assume that, oh, well, that's just them being churchy and normal, and that's fine, and that's great and good for them and whatever. And then something like this happens, and then somebody like that who you thought was maybe as religious as they portrayed themselves to be will say and do things that are 100% counter to the things they say they believe in. That hypocrisy, at least as you perceive it, starts to just fall out of everybody during a time where people are picking sides, and there's weird tribalism about, even simple stuff like masks or vaccines or whatever. And then suddenly you're like, well, you used to sort of act like you were acting, you were behaving like Jesus, but now you there's no way he's doing this. Like, I can't see Jesus in a red hat at an anti-vax rally yelling horrible things at people across the way. It just doesn't match up. But there you are every Sunday pretending like you're this thing. I think it's just been so much easier in the last couple of years to see that in a starker relief than we have before. And I feel like that's a little bit of what this person is describing.
Yeah, totally. And there's also just a general trend that happened pre-pandemic, but I think also has been accelerated. I mean, first we should note, America is special, right? Like,
we think we are.
It really is. And special means lots of things, but we're special in this regard. We are amazingly very good at this kind of thing, in that, like, we really want to think we're awesome, right? Like, lots of people are this way. It's not just Americans, but we want to, we're awesome. And then you show us any data that shows we're like not as awesome as we think. We're like, no, we have eagles, like we're better. And that is not unique to Americans, but we have a special sauce of that, I should probably say. And then Christianity has historically been a very Christian nation. Mm-hmm. We, thank goodness, some early folks were like, we need to really separate this from the state, because that is where problems have always happened.
Yeah.
And, holding that line is really important. And, anyone who wants to break that line is delusional that their religion is the one that's going to be picked, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they'll pick mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they won't. What if they pick any of the religions you also hate? Then you wouldn't want the religion. And, so we have our own history with this that is interesting. So someone may be hearing this who was not raised, in that type of environment in a Christian way, but maybe some other religion, or even just some other family culture way, or sort of different kind of cultural way. I have a client that lives in Saudi Arabia and just absolutely lost her mind at a bank the other day because they wouldn't let her withdraw money from her own account without her husband standing there.
Yeah.
And that is cultural norms.
Yeah.
It is tied up in religious norms as well.
Mm.
And the government and the religion and the state have zero separation there. And she just lost her bonkers. She just said, I turned full Karen. And she's like, and he could literally get kicked out of the country if she behaves badly or gets a speeding ticket. Like, there's a lot going on in there that is, woo, woo, and you go, oh yeah, I kind of like that we can all just fight here freely and no one goes to jail. Like it. The comparison. So I just wanted to point out, like, this is a very specific to the United States feeling, and obviously there's other countries and other places that this can happen to, but we have a special form of this. And one thing to note is that, there's a lot of money that gets made in this department too, because churches in America are tax exempt. So they're not paying property tax, they're not paying sales tax, they're not paying all sorts of taxes that the rest of us pay, and which I think is, on one hand, it's to encourage, and on the other hand, it's corrupting, right? Like, so it's a tricky ball of wax in a lot of forms. And what this person is describing is a family life that, well, before I say that, let me say one last thing. The trend, this is what I was getting at. The trend has slowly been dipping of people not coming to church anymore or not claiming their religious identity as anything specific, like I'm a Catholic or I'm a Lutheran or something.
I wonder why. I wonder why they would want to distance themselves from the toxicity of their you know what I mean? Like, this is not shocking to me at all, this trend. It makes perfect sense.
No, not at all. And it was definitely happening. And then I think the acceleration, I think a pandemic really kicks that into high gear too, when you can't attend church and you were kind of thinking you maybe didn't know if you wanted to go anyway. You just get to stop. So I think, I don't know all the numbers from that, but I do know the decline has been through all age ranges, but especially younger people, right?
Yeah.
So if you think of what happened in the last, 20 years that would give anybody more access to information about things, the internet. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how do you work in a system where you take abusive priests and you find out that there were cover-ups and that, all these things you thought were just like so great in your childhood or part of your family culture or all the positive experiences maybe you had, suddenly they get tainted. That can be really difficult for folks. And so they're sort of grappling with things maybe a generation ago. They just had no access to information that would make them grapple. And it just became sort of this is their people and their tribe, and they don't think twice about stuff. They just kind of do what they do. So I think that's a big piece. I think another piece is people moving around a lot more. And so their exposure to other thinking, as well as they're not in a small town where everyone goes to church on Sunday and they know if you're not there, there isn't quite the same social pressure. So you have a lot of dynamics happening. And then you have a lot of reality checks that are occurring, like this emailer. So we'll narrow it down to his or her specific experience, which is, I was raised in a particular family with a particular take in a particular religion that felt suffocating, felt cult-like, like you're in, you can't leave, this is everything. And then it's wrapped around mom's need for approval and accolades. And here's the truth. We could pop religion out of this story and just put it change it with the country club or change it with the school or the mom's group or whatever, right? You get a narcissistic based kind of personality raising children. They're going to find whatever it is that helps them look good and feel good and etc. Mm-hmm. Now, we throw narcissism around a lot. I don't know if this person's mother was actually narcissist, but maybe narcissistic and or incredibly insecure or, whatever else was going on. But it didn't sound like kind of figuring things out for yourself was very valued.
Yeah.
And that's what the internet has provided, right? Figure this out for yourself. Now, we can see that it can be dangerous because...
Yeah, not all information is correct on there.
Exactly, right? And religion is 99% particularly... Exactly. Well, and prove religion to me. Ready, go. Either of you.
Can't be
anything
done.
Religion's ever said.
Can't be done.
Life after death.
That's the whole point of it, is if you can't, then you just say, now look, I know... I'm going to get emails.
I'm translating the Bible this way. Oh, I'm translating it that way.
Well, even that, no matter what you say, I could say to you right now, I have my own religion. It's called Bugaboo, and here's what I believe. I believe that this controller I'm holding in my hand can hover 5 feet above the ground all the time, and it speaks to me. And when it talks to me, it tells me what to do with my life. And the other day, an apple also opened up, and inside was a diamond. Now, I could tell you all of that. And you'd say, well, I need a citation, please. I need to see some proof of that. And I'd say, well, you got to have faith. That's the answer. And
right.
that's the beauty of belief and the curse of belief.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge anybody for belief, whatever their belief is. You have it and it's fine, whatever you're going to do. But in every single case, the answer always comes down, well, I can't show you. You have to just believe. That's just it. And whether that offends you or doesn't offend you, I think it just depends on how, I don't know. It shouldn't offend you because that is it. That's all it is. And you may have, somebody may be hearing this and going, well, I have a firm faith. Great. That's great. But you still have a thing I can't see or he can't or she can't see. Nobody can show you. And so you've got this automatic out every time. And it's a little infuriating because what's changed in my life is I used to, when I was younger, I'd know people who I thought seemed very faithful in that they really, really held a strong belief and it reflected in their actions. And, it was a positive attribute to those people. But I see people now who just use it as this standard get away with it card to say, well, I'm a believer in what? This. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, I don't have to tell you. It's faith. You have to have faith. You don't have any faith. Like, it's just such a tool now, and I hate it. So there's Scott's opinion. Enjoy.
There's Scott's trigger button here.
Yeah, enjoy my trigger button.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, one aspect of understanding that is that it's really hard to understand motive, right? Like, what is somebody's actual motive? If I have experienced something that I can't explain that is life-altering for me, and I want to share that with other people, like, that's the best version of this, right? But it's also like, my experience, and I think everyone else can be like me or should be like me, we start to get in trouble. And that's very human, right? Like, oh, it's not so bad. And it's not until you've been through something that you really wake up to like, whoa, that is so bad. I can't believe someone else has gone through this before. And you have a new sense of empathy and understanding and that sort of humility of like, yeah, I guess I know nothing, right? And so when that's lost in and can be pretty easily in organized religion and can be pretty easily when there's power dynamics at play or whatever, it can get pretty dang toxic. And when a family needs structure and identity, and it's all the stuff we need, right? We all need structure. We all need identity. We all need to feel that we belong. We all need to feel safe, loved. Religion guarantees some awesome prize after this life. Like, let's just all, like, this is great. And old timers will go, yes, that's how it was when I was a kid. Well, that's because nobody questioned it. And maybe someone snuck away and then we just ostracized that person or thought, well, that's crazy Jerry. He just took off. I don't know. Right. And that's because you lived in a small town or because that unit was so strong and it served everyone and everyone's feeling good. Well, when you start to see cracks in things and it doesn't feel good or you don't feel safe, you don't feel like you belong, you feel like you're the odd man out, like, this stuff starts to fall apart. And that is, just the reality of where this is. And so you take this guy's experience, I think it's a guy, sorry, I'm just going to stick with that.
Sure.
I think it is too, for the record. I'm not sure.
But just this idea of like, you got to tease apart what's mom stuff, what's religion stuff. And his idea of, I need to back all the way out of this for a minute is a really good one. Because to some extent, you have to sort of start over. Once you start deconstructing everything in your life that was just given to you, right? It was like, this is what it is. This is what you believe. This is how we act. This is what we do every week. And there was not a lot of room for your own opinion or that you couldn't influence that in any way or ask certain questions. Like, kids pick up on that quickly. And, they can pick up on hypocrisy quickly too, right? They can just sort of smell it. It's like dogs and kids can smell it. And so then it just doesn't feel awesome. So then suddenly you're an adult going, okay, well, the construct with how I think about how things work and, it's my place in life and religion's place in my life. It's really hard to deconstruct that and just like know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. So I would recommend following through with like backing out and starting over and figuring out what really matters to you but maybe have some help in the deconstruction part, so you're not sort of floundering and just going to find another place that just feels good for a minute, but you really do the work. And this is just human, right? We could, again, replace religion with other words like,
sure.
Understanding your family dynamic, understanding why your relationships keep falling apart, understanding why you don't trust yourself.
Right.
And you may find there are threads that lead back to the culture of the church you belong to as a child, or the family you belong to as a child, or the literal physical neighborhood you belong to as a child. What messages were you being given? Because a fish doesn't know it's in water until you take it out and you go, see, you're in water. And it's incredibly challenging and painful and ego destroying, and all the things you thought were safe and good. And this is what's the irony ultimately is when somebody questions or struggles within a community that doesn't value struggle or questioning, everyone kind of doubles down because it's terrifying. And I don't think they're always conscious of that, but it would be really scary to think of losing everything, right? And that's what that means for some folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we can watch someone escape a cult and just be like, wow, that's amazing. And hear their story, and the people, there are designated therapists and counselors and professionals that work with folks who have gotten out of some of these situations, because it is so intricately, the need is so great to do good work in helping them, right?
Yeah.
Because they were really in such a difficult place. I'm not saying everyone's in a cult if they're in a religion, but I am saying there are cult aspects to every kind of group you belong to.
Yeah.
Because it's groups.
Cult.
Groups
The definition
do
of cult is that, right? It's just group of like-mindeds, or whatever the definition is.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily a nefarious definition. It's just, if you're in a really awesome group of D&D players that play every weekend, and you love it, and you just live and breathe it together, and you can't wait to be together to do it, you're a cult, and not in a pejorative way. You're just that's what you are, and it's okay.
If it gets dodgy because now you have to drip blood in a bowl every time you walk in to play the game, and then they take your identity. I mean, it gets worse if you're in an actual cult.
Yeah,
but you're right. It's at its core, we're all sort of whatever we belong to, whatever groups we associate with. There is this aspect of my identity's wrapped up in this, which is why, divisiveness is just so easy to find when we over-identify with belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this great podcast, and now I can't remember where it might be I don't know, but it was about policing and racial issues, and what we always do. And I am really annoyed. Can I just vent for half a second? I am really annoyed.
Please vent.
I'm really annoyed. We are watching the Olympics. We might be the only ones, but we're having a lot of fun watching it. And I just want to strangle every single reporter who asks the same ridiculous questions about the person's emotional, mental situation. I get that that's the hot topic because that's the angle to take, but I think they've always done it. And I think it is incredibly reckless and unbelievable that we're asking an 18-year-old just these questions. It makes me so mad. I can't.
Give me an example of a question. It'd be because they're talking about you're 90% of this event is mental, and so tell us about your mental. You mean that kind of thing, or
and then when they, I think
it's the generic question that drives me nuts.
Yes.
Hey, how did you feel when you got that gold medal?
How do you think I felt? Yeah,
I was a little disappointed. Honestly, I thought it'd be bigger.
Yeah.
And I part of me is what could we replace this with? Because I get the point of it, but I also just think, can we not ask the 18-year-old who just accidentally missed the gate on the Super G and is not going to win? What was that like? It's I've spent every minute of my life to be in this moment. What do you think it was like? It's just so maddening. And I get it, but I don't get it. And I think, okay, what can we replace it with? The person can just stand at a mic and say, this is just what I want to talk about. I love no asking questions. Mm-hmm. Don't ask any questions. Just let me talk or not. I think most would just walk away, right? Is that what would happen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I forgot why I'm on that rant.
Because he just felt like letting it rip. I get it.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
I've just been feeling that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. No.
It's a very Johnson. It's a Johnson trait as well. It's a Johnson trait as well. I need to pee, and what was I talking about? There's a lot of that going on. So well, let me throw this at you just real quick about this person's email. If they, this feeling, I think a lot of people can relate to this. There's a feeling that can come to people when they get to, I don't know, maybe it comes with age, but you hit a certain age and you're like, you start to feel a little bit like a lot of what you quote unquote believe is Santa Claus for adults, and then you start to resent that, or you go all in. Like, this is not me saying you're all believe in Santa Claus. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you've made a decision at some point, because the conflict comes up in your head where you can either call it a challenge of faith, or you can call it a awakening to truth, or whatever you want to define it as. That may lean you one direction or another by defining it one way or the other. But what I'm saying is when you reach that moment, people either get into a rejection of what they have been taught for their whole lives, or they go all in on it out of fear of rejecting it. Am I right about that?
Really, totally great point. And like Leonard Cohen said, if there's no cracks, there's no light that gets in, right? Like cracking of what your childhood mind believed wholeheartedly should happen. Like you should have some experiences, or you're in a bubble. Like what? First of all, and don't even get me started on what actual Christianity should be teaching if it follows what Christ did, which was like way different than how most Christians practice.
This is you just basically summed up my entire frustration with it all. Like it's just completely pisses me off in every possible way. And why people always, say, "Oh, you talk about Gospel of Blaine because it was all about, what you do and how you treat other people, and that was kind of it." And yeah, that is what I believe. And I think it's as important as anything. And I had somebody email me the other day and say, "I've heard you mention this on the show, and I just want you to know none of this works. Our actions mean nothing. It's all about if you truly want to be saved." He was doing one of his whole, you can't pay your way into heaven. And I said,
what an awesome way to live, though, to just think if you could say it out loud once and then claim that's your belief. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Freaking F that guy. I was so annoyed with him. And I know he may even be listening right now, and I'm sure he's a nice guy, and we'll hang out and we'll be friends. He seemed like a totally nice guy, but I think he missed the point. When I grew up, there was a common saying. What was it? Is it biblical? By their fruit you shall know them. Basically, the idea is if you're a good tree, you're making good fruit. And good fruit means you're productive and you're making a good impact. You're making a difference. And if it's shriveled up, shitty fruit, then you're not such a good tree. And you can pretend to be a nice tree. I'm a great tree. I'm the Lord's chosen tree.
The tree doesn't need to tell you it makes good fruit.
No.
The tree just needs to make the great fruit.
And I cannot abide by this concept that
how many plums?
You neither take plums nor leave plums, Brian. I don't know if you've heard that. But this idea that you can just I don't want to get into specific dogma here or anything because it's not really my point. All I'm saying is if I see somebody who's not religious at all stop and offer help to someone in need, and I see somebody who's suited up, ready to go to church, does all the bows and amens and does all the stuff, but does not stop to help that person, sorry, it's backwards. This other guy's the religious guy in the definition I'm talking about, not you in the suit with the fancy car thinking you're somehow Mr. Hotshot at your local church. Freaking F off. Like, I'm telling you, if the people that hide behind the Jesus flag in this country, okay? Oh, I'm going to get emails, man. Yeah, I'm just preparing for this. But the people that hide behind that.
Before you go there, let me say this. And this is a good caveat for every one of us does this in some form.
Of course. Of course.
So when you're telling your boss is like, I'm just excited to listen, to hear the ideas you're all having, and and then talks for 45 minutes straight and doesn't let anyone talk. And then you say, hey, maybe you could listen right now, and they're defensive. I mean, that's the same version of this.
No, you're totally right.
Thing.
You're totally right. You're totally right. It's not exclusive to religion for sure. It's really just a mastery over.
But that business is not tax exempt and can do as much.
Yeah, that's the other thing. But tax exempt status plays a big role in this. But my point is, like, the battle is to be better at that. So for that boss to be a better listener and less of a talker, for that guy to be less quick to say, I think that guy cut me off, and instead pay attention to his own driving. The battle isn't won. Nobody's won it. It's just this process. And it's the whole, it's not about the battle, it's the war. So you're working toward an ultimate end. I hate the war. The war comparison kind of sucks. But the point is like you want to be better at life, and you're not going to be perfect at it. You're going to screw up all the time. And, I'm one of those people, and I'm not as good of a listener as I am a talker, and I need to be better at that. I'm glad you brought that one up, because that's one I have to work on. I don't think anybody should be claiming they're perfect at anything. That's part of my whole point here. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you're looking for my respect, you just saying that, back to my original point, a lot of people that hide behind that flag now do it as this default. Oh, well then you're fine because you're a God-fearing whatever. That's fine, I guess. Then you thinking poor people suck is okay. And here's what I want. I want all those people in a room, and for the Jesus they all claim to follow to show up and tell them how they're all doing it backwards. That's what I want. Because until that day comes, they'll keep doing it backwards because it's easy and it's an excuse and they can get away with it, and they think they're justified. I'm pretty sure a lot of those people really truly believe they're justified in whatever bad behavior they're doing because they've somehow twisted it around to be this way. And I hate it. Like it just.
I remember my point from a long time ago.
Oh, good. We brought it back. I knew we'd get there.
Took so long because I was talking about another podcast that I didn't remember, and it was about policing and racial stuff. And this researcher, it was amazing because he's like, listen, everyone, when there's a shooting and when police kill another person with a no-knock warrant in Minneapolis, then we all ask ourselves, is the cop a racist? And that is the wrong question. Does he believe? Because you ask anyone right now, are you racist? And if they say yes, it's the only one being like straight up honest about it. But every single human has racial biases because that's how the human brain works.
Right.
Now, are you working on them? Have you exposed yourself to other people so that you are less racist? Are you, sure, lots of versions of that. But most of us have biases without questioning them. We just have them, right? Mm-hmm. And so he had made this great point of like, we don't need these police departments to find just the bad egg that's the racist cop that does all the bad stuff. It's the actual way everything works that allows a person to behave in certain ways, and their bias shows through. So then what we do is we put cops on trial to find out if they believe what they believe. Do you think black people are bad? No, I have a black best friend. Okay. Then how come you have killed multiple unarmed black men?
Yeah.
Well, it's because they threatened me. Well, that's by its very nature, a racist thing. So I don't understand all of it, but I just thought, wow, what a great shift in perspective to stop thinking in terms of that belief is the end. And this is very individualistic Americanism, right? Which is what I believe trumps what everyone else thinks, feels, and whatever. Like my belief is, that's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can believe in Scott's weird religion where he floats an apple off the ground. Now I can't remember. It's so complicated.
Oh, is this controller? It's a game controller I have in my hand. It floats above.
There we go. Yeah. Exactly, right? Yeah. And so sort of looking at the greater good is much more difficult. Right? When it's all about, well, how does this affect me? And that's because we have a process in our brain which is self-referential. How does this impact me? What makes me nervous? Why do I feel unsafe? And this is why when every kid grows up differently in every different scenario, they have certain things that make them feel safe and certain things that don't. And sometimes as they get older and realize some things about their childhood they never realized because they were fish in water that they didn't know they were in, they start to have to evaluate some of these things. And I think that's what's happening here for this person is, maybe his Christian upbringing is getting all the attention, and it's really more deeply held things. Mm-hmm. And so pulling that apart can be really important to see what is what. So when someone has been traumatized in a certain culture or family, We always want to find, I mean, think about just your when something bad happens, don't you just want to know whose fault it is?
Yeah.
Like we're so built to like, well, what was his intention?
Yeah.
Or,
and you don't want to be the one that it's at fault. That's the other thing. If it's you, they're pointing fingers at, you immediately are in a defensive position.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all human tendency showing up all over the place. And then we just add a layer of belief on top of it that can be really convoluted. So the part he didn't say much about was the family dynamic, just that it's a hot mess. Right.
Yeah.
So if this was a client coming to me, first of all, I'd listen to all the things, and then I would say, all right, let's start with the family stuff. Because you're going to go try to fix your belief system that is so integrated with the trauma and the dysfunction in your life, maybe, that, we're trying to patch up an outside thing, though it feels so big and scary and all of those things. Like, let's start smaller and start a little more inward. Like, what else has happened? What is going on? Sort of exploring that. So that would be my advice is, take a step back from everything and do some work to figure out what's going on. You may have to deconstruct all sorts of parts of your life. I think it's easier because it's socially more acceptable to deconstruct your religious life and have that be the focal point, when that might just be the tip of an iceberg, actually, and you may miss doing that other important work because this feels, but go back 50, 60 years when there was no social reason that would benefit you ever to walk away from your church community, because that's where you were going to get married, get buried, get all your benefits, have everyone love you and take care of you, right? And now there's a lot more options, and so you don't maybe have some of that. But did it mean there was functional, awesome things happening for people? No. There's never been the case where everyone's just hunky-dory and doing great.
No, that time never existed. Like this thing I'm saying about, it's all about the battle, not the war. It's always the process. That's, it's literally the human condition all the way down to the individual. Like we're all doing it. I don't care who it is and how they claim they're not. You could be Tony Robbins. I don't care, man. You got problems. Whatever it is Tony Robbins is doing, I don't want to know. But and I'm not, I don't want to accuse people of things that are untoward. What I mean is, actually, I think he was accused of something bad. But anyway, the point is,
I think he was, yeah.
Was he? Yeah. But these surface veneers are what I dislike the most. And people always say, well, one of the things I like about the Frog Pants Network and the people you work with and the co-hosts and yourself is that you guys just seem like you are who you are.
Yeah.
And for good or for bad, like you may not like it, but we just are who we are, and we're not pretending to be anything we're not. And off air, this is us. On air, this is us. And for whatever reason, we've been able to carve out some monicum of success. And I feel like that's been good. But my point is, it's made me more aware of veneer than anything in this world. Like I just see it everywhere I go, and you just go, ugh, surface level stuff. But then again, I look at myself and go, yeah, Scott, but you wake up in the morning and you see that mole on your head and you're like, man, if I could just dig that out with a spoon, I would, because I hate that thing. It shows up on camera. Well, what is that? That's veneer,
Yeah.
Or me worrying about the one tooth that's missing in the back. Should I get an implant? Shows up on camera sometimes. I'm worried about veneer. Like, it's just part of us to do that.
It is.
And my point is just, I don't know, freaking fight it. And for whatever reason, during a pandemic and political upheaval, where I live and in this country right now, has just made that stuff more obvious everywhere and in places you maybe didn't expect it, from people you didn't expect it from. And that makes it harder to deal with. In this listener's case, growing up with a certain idea that already conflicted with what he was experiencing at home. I mean, I can only imagine that just feels really bad. Like, I think you and I were lucky. We grew up in a house where mom and dad were kind of what mom and dad were, warts and all. And they didn't really pretend to be anything else. And so, especially dad, he was just, he was dad. And
he also openly talked about hypocrisy and how problematic it is. So it wasn't like we didn't walked around thinking the world was like, oh, it's all good. And then it cracked open.
Right.
Like,
that never happened.
Problems.
We knew there were cracks. And there was that kind of honesty about him, which I really liked about it growing up. And I appreciate it about it. The older I get, the more I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how, if you didn't experience that, I don't know how this is that case, right? I don't know how. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help them. I don't know how to help them.
So one thing everyone should know is Scott does not talk about poop and farts in real life as much as he does on the show.
Well,
at least
I've had dinner with him. It seemed like there was still a lot of poop talk being thrown around.
All right.
Carter will confirm.
And you could take, people who are just like, yes, see, here's the problem with religion. It is not the problem with religion. Because if I go to a TED Talk and I say, is this not your church, people in here? Is this not church for you? It is, right? Yeah. Like everyone, you name it, D&D, it's your church. Like we can find everyone's church where they feel excited, hopeful, happy, they're getting what they need out of it. Or in some cases, they're miserable and feel like, it's the way to keep them from not burning in hell. Whatever. Everyone's got their same form. So it's not, here's the problem with religion. Yes, problems come from religion as humans practice it and create it for sometimes ill ends.
Force it on others.
Of course.
Yeah.
But everything is that it's really just the human problem. And then we show it up in different forms. Are we more dangerous sometimes when we collect ourselves in ideology? Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
We do. And so that's why, anything can, get dangerous. And so all of that said, I want to point out just one more thing for this person. Like, there's a lot of pain here, right? We can talk about this, like bigger structures and, ways to understand it. And that's typically talking around the actual pain, right? Because that's what we do. We use our front of our brains, which is the most newly developed, to rationalize, to reason, to think through, to save ourselves, save the very deep parts of us from being terrified of death and being terrified that everything we love could go in a second, and also a bear could eat us, right? Like that's what these structures typically are for. And when things start to sort of unravel, that pain and what it's the difficulty of being a human and being in these complex relationships, this is where getting help, getting compassion for yourself, like this is going to take work. Just naturally, you can't order this online and get it. You can't.
No.
I mean, this is work you have to do yourself. And I think I would throw out one suggestion for reading material is to find others who have written an actual book. And I get that you can just find this in a couple tweets, but I'd prefer someone who took the time to get it published. Just means they had to think about it maybe a little longer than 45 minutes.
Hardcover or Kindle? How far do we need to go here?
Just needs to be, and kind of olden days. I'd prefer some a little older. Yeah. So, for example, one with Christianity specifically that is C.S. Lewis's writing about doubt, and I think he became a Christian later. Then his wife died, and he was just like, maybe everything sucks, and this isn't, like, what about reading someone else who's had this journey before you? Or better yet, if you can't find something better yet, reading is if you can't find a real person. Find a real person that you can respect and connect with and understand. And this is obviously why the internet is like good and evil, right? Mm-hmm. You can find people to help support you as you figure some of these things out. Support groups still provide support. You know? And so there's a lot of pain and a lot of things to work through. So don't do it alone. Because that's what really is the biggest wound here. Often in cases where people are doubting whatever their origin or tribe is that they're really alone. Mm-hmm. So, you take let's modernize this outside of religion. You take people who've spent the last couple of years preaching the anti-vax gospel and then having to face real hardship because of it, or being rejected and losing everything. And then, I know I'm speaking of a particular case of this man who he built his life around what Trump was saying. And then Trump gets vaxxed and he's like, what have I built my life? I've lost family and friends. Like a reevaluation, right? Because you can drop everything because we value some of this of like, stand up for yourself and do your own research and like individualism, your rights over everything else. And then, let's follow these stories in the long run, and losing and being disconnected is really damaging to a human being. This is why we glom on so hard to things. Mm-hmm. Because we just can't be alone, and it's scary.
So funny. It always comes back to that Simpsons quote for me. I always think of it where it's not even two main characters. It's Lenny and who's the other guy? Carl. Lenny and Carl, who work at the plant with Homer, and Lenny and Carl did something together and got it done. And Lenny goes, we got it done with teamwork. And Carl mutters, or Lenny mutters, or I think it was Carl. Carl mutters, yeah, my teamwork. Like, there's something that stuck with me so hard. I know that it's just a dumb cartoon and everything, but there's something about that lesson of, it's impossible for people to not do this, it feels like, where they're like, well, yeah, my blah, 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 or our blah, 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 or whatever. Some of the chat groups said it very, very good, I think. I. Fleming said, especially when a particular ideology makes a point of directly saying your group is objectively better than everyone else's group, it's dangerous, and leaving that behind is disorienting and essential. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that.
You're now cavorting with all the enemies, and you're like those atheists are supposed to be the worst, and turns out they're some of the kindest, best humans you've ever met. What do?
Yeah.
Well, you deconstruct everything and figure out what, you have to heal, grieve. I mean, I just before this had a call with someone who is grieving as she is leaving the faith of her childhood. And I mean, we are having to proactively grieve all of the things. It's incredibly distressful. So when people are just like, they just want to go sleep with all the ladies or whatever, like whatever their way to just not actually see the other person as human or understand or ask questions. I mean, again, this is why tribes are what they are and will always be, is like, how do I stay safe? Well, I conform, or I don't leave, or I don't put myself at risk. And so some of the bravest people in the world are the ones that are questioning the culture they live in. I talked to a couple 18-year-olds who are just like, should we really think about capitalism? And I'm like, whoa, if I was 18, I would not even have had that thought.
No. Yeah. This generation's they're different.
They are not different. They've always been this way when you're 18. That's just
but
nothing's new.
When you were 18 though, what were you asking? I wasn't asking that.
Having a good time. I was like, how can I pay money to a college to work for the man?
Yeah, I was. All I was thinking about is there a way for me to sleep on the roof in the sun and watch videos all day and not do anything and still make a living?
Yeah, all right. You're right that there's that difference. And again, in the internet, like, what do you do when you know things?
Yeah.
Right? It's hard.
It's hard when you know things and you know more
things. The key is to just go back to living in our villages with our own tribes. This would really help.
Yeah, let's get Hamlets back. I want Hamlets again.
Yeah, where are the Hamlets?
Yeah, get some Hamlets.
Right.
The only problem with Hamlets is nobody knows how to make roads around them, and then you end up with London, which is just a freaking spaghetti mess. No one knows how to do it. Carter and I were just talking about that. All right, well, this is all good. I hope that the listener will let us know how things go and follow up. Let us know. Hopefully your journey through this is one of both enlightenment and kindness. And I don't know. I usually find this when I'm frustrated, I'll usually text Wendi and go, what do you do when a bear? And she'll go, usually go help somebody and like forget about that and do something for somebody else. That'll take care of it. And she's right. It does. It always works. So let the gospel of Blaine wash over you. All right. Good stuff. Wendy, anything going on with realsteps.org you'd like to mention or promote?
Please go to realsteps.org. Sign up. We are starting February 28th. We call it the spring round. So it's 6 weeks, starts February 28th, and we have so much fun things happening. I'm super excited. So please.
Yeah.
And if you have questions, you can email me at admin@realsteps.org, and I'm happy to answer any of them.
Excellent.
To see you.
All right. Sounds good to me. It's Wendi, everyone. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye now.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. All right. Well, that was a raucous episode of Wendy's Therapy Thursday.
Yeah.
Good stuff, though.
It was good. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to get out of here. Before we do, though, I assume there's a Coverville today.
There will be, after last week's break due to cold. We're back today with 2 birthdays celebrating Axl Rose, who's only 60 but looks like 73, and singer Melanie, not one of the Spice Girls, not Melanie Chisholm, not Melanie Brown, just plain Melanie, or Melanie Safka if you really want to get technical. She had a brand new key and a brand new pair of roller skates, and
I love that song.
if you've seen Righteous Gemstones, her Lay Down, Candles in the Rain is featured prominently at the end of a recent episode. Anyway, covers of both of those people on today's episode of Coverville. I might even try and figure out a way to work in John Williams because he just turned 90.
Yeah, 90 years old, still composing, man. That dude's awesome.
Still, he's still composing, not yet decomposing, which is great.
Not
so
yet.
Keep that up. And I just jinxed it, didn't I?
Oh no.
Anyway, that'll be today on Coverville, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Twitch.tv/Coverville.
That's awesome. Do check that out. I love that Key song.
Yeah.
There's something about it. It's
look what they done to my song, Ma.
It's so
look what they done to my song.
It's so good. That stuff transcends time. It sounds like you could have made it yesterday.
Yeah, surely is.
All right, so check that out later. What else? Today's Core Day. So tonight, Core at 5 p.m. Live if you want to catch it that way, or the podcast later if you want. Big Nintendo releases this week, so lots of talk with me, John, and Bo about that on Core, where we talk about video games and the news and games we're playing and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to tune in and find out what I think of not Dead by Daylight, Don't Die, Deadlight, Day, Hey, Night.
No Time to Die by Deadlight.
I can't remember the name of the damn game, but it's very fun. It's parkour in a zombie apocalypse, and I really like it. We'll talk about that later tonight. All right, that's it for Lost Ark talk as well. That'll happen tonight. Lost Ark's all the talk with all my action RPG.
Is TMS
and
your last podcast that isn't about video games? Hold on, we got to check this out here.
Feels like
Instance, Core, Play Retro.
Yeah. What else? That's it. You've named all three. The other
Skim, I guess, is not about.
No Skim. Film Sack. You're on that one. You'd know that one, right?
Oh, Film Sack, of course. Film Sack. I've heard of that one. Yeah.
I'm familiar with that one.
Come on, we did Max Payne. That show is about video games. Let's face it. We did Max Payne on that show.
Good point.
We've done Mortal Kombat. We've done Super Mario Brothers. That show is about video games.
I do love the games. I admit. Yes. Well, all right then. We're out of here.
On all your shows about music.
We're going to take our leave. However, a reminder, tomorrow we'll be back to a PM show tomorrow, and I think Dan will be there. I got to check with him, make sure, but that'll be fun. I'll let Brian and I will talk if it's not, and we'll do apps.
If not, then I'll do an app. I'll probably talk about Alien Isolation, which I've bought and spent an hour downloading, because you download the game, and then you download about an hour of assets.
I hate that.
Yeah, but that's all right. I'm ready to play this thing, so I'm going to play it.
All right. I'm excited to hear about it no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Frogpants.com/TMS for our website that has links to everything, including our Patreon and everything else. So get in there, check it out. We're out of here. Let's play a song. What do you got?
Yeah. Ian from Memphis wrote in, said, hey, sousaphone and baritone. Longtime listener, first-time caller. On Saturday the 12th, I'll be turning the big 3-0. Oh, I missed 3-0. In honor of that, I would love to hear any cover of or by Rush. I was pretty much raised on the band, thought he was going to say raised on the radio, and was lucky enough to see them twice before they stopped touring, and I believe everyone could use some more of that Canadian goodness in their day. Thanks for all the great content. P.S. Rest in peace, Neil Peart.
Oh, yeah, that guy's awesome.
Happy birthday to you!
And a happy new year.
There you go, buddy. 30. It's a big one.
So good.
Yeah, congrats.
All right, how about this one? This is a cover of, speaking of, where is it? There we go. Speaking of Tom Sawyer, which we weren't, been wanting to do something heavier for ending music for a while because we've had some Russian dance pop, we've had some lighter covers, we had some country, German country music yesterday. How about some just straight up rock and roll? Here is the band Mindless Self-Indulgence from their You'll Rebel to Anything album from 2008. Some of those words I just said were correct. With their cover of Rush's Tom Sawyer.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you guys soon. Bye now. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Your boss does not like us much, eh? He thinks he's better than us, eh?
Eh? Better than us. See?